With that, we are down to the last 8 minutes of this segment. Any questions from the audience? Hands go up right away. Very nice.
I wanted to ask about the simple question of uptake. Most technology solutions in the sector have failed simply because the end user doesn't take on the technology. And I understand that technology is awesome, but I think that especially from the morning session that we had with Osama Manzar, uh, I thought what we were being offered in that session was really a way of thinking about technology as something that would change social relations. And in that sense, perhaps capacitizing people is something that is a far more empowering kind of way to look at technology. I thought, Rachita's presentation touched on that as well. But just especially with Gaurav and with Sharma sir's presentation, I just wondered what you do about uptake. You can offer people solutions, self-learning solutions, but everything that I've been a part of, the workshops I have benefited from have been face-to-face. I never read the online material, and to be honest, neither did my colleagues. So how do you address that really basic point?
Do you want to take that up?
No, I don't need this. Yeah. Instinctively, I moved to the mic. So when you mean update, you mean
Uptake.
uptake. Oh, sorry. Okay. So uptake of learning.
Technology. How does adoption happen?
Wow, that's so. Yeah. So in general, I think uptake happens when people see value in that. If you're able to locate technology within what they are facing, which is the issue they are facing, rather than a top-down imposition of something we believe in, the chances of uptake will be a little bit higher. That's one maybe a slightly global statement, but that's true for anything. I mean, you can't force me to do something. You could force me to do something, but if you want me to do it happily, I would need to believe in it. So that's one thing on uptake. The other is if any kind of capacity building exercise is done over time with multiple touch points, there is a slightly higher chance of uptake actually happening. So there must be an application component. If you're talking about tech or any other concept, there is an input part, there must be an application part. There must be a follow-up of that which brings people together, reflecting on what they have done and drawing out learnings. I mean, those are some principles which might help with the uptake. One-time stories don't make this happen.
Can I answer that? Yes. In our case, it so happened we had set up kiosks in the village. So if somebody did not know how to look at a computer or touch a mouse, we always had one youth dedicated to make them use it. That's number one. And number two, when we made it that they have to apply on the computer in order to get a certificate, it automatically made them do it. So it was kind of gently forced that only if they apply it through that they can get the certificate. Okay? And more than that, when we provided transparency, that they could see all the bank account of the Gram Panchayats, they were thrilled to bits because they could see how much money was inside. So people would stand in line to actually see who got the contract, who got Indira Awas Yojana, who got the Ambedkar Yojana, because they were waiting for that information which was not available. So now they could actually see it on the computer in their own village. So it was a fantastic opportunity. So it takes, as he said, they have to be motivated to go and use it. And then automatically they will use it.
So kind of align incentives and then you do hand holding.
Correct.
That sounds like my dad's transition to becoming cashless. Yeah, so I think behavior change does come from multiple touch points and deep thought into those two aspects, incentives and hand holding.
There's an entirely new body of knowledge which is called behavioral economics,
Right.
which talks about the importance of nudges.
Right.
You talked about one right now.
There's a question right here.
Yeah, I have a very basic question. We live in very interesting times where, we've been recently introduced to technology like a decade ago types, right? So we've got all kinds of tech available. Like there's short-term tech, there's long-term tech, there's medium-term tech, there's free tech, there is paid tech, there's subscription-based tech, tech for HR, tech for marketing, etc. So with so much happening around and having a panel and a whole conference designed around tech, you're so overwhelmed and intimidated, you don't know where to start. So this is the question that I have is where do we start? How should we, define our tech journey or design those tech goals and go for it? And if you could share some examples of how did you do it?
I can share. So I think you're absolutely right. Tech has infiltrated our world, but I think if you're clear on what the specific objective is, then you decide if tech serves the purpose that you want to achieve, and if it doesn't, then you don't use it. So I think for us, there are processes within IDR that are tech enabled, and then there are ones that are entirely not. And it's because tech is not the best medium to achieve what we want to do in that case. So I don't know, that's just my simple take on,
Any new thing is always overwhelming. Yeah, and probably we are underestimating how technology is being utilized. You have seen in the morning presentation by Osama that illiterate women are now, with the use of symbols, are able to use the technology. If they are able to do it, can we not? We can. It's just the starting trouble that we have. Okay, and by using a smartphone, by using a computer, you're already using the technology. It's just the time that takes in.
The good news also is that a lot of intermediary organizations are coming into place to kind of help with this transition. One such organization is Dhwani. I don't know if they're here in the room. They're definitely here at the conference. They have a stall there. Do look them up. Tech for Dev that Donald runs is another resource. There's also Tech for Good. Tech for written with a numeral. Look them up. These are all intermediate organizations helping the nonprofit sector, particularly grassroots NGOs, leverage the full power of technology in their everyday work. That's really good news. This is a sign of what is to come in terms of bridging the digital divide for this sector.
Start using one thing and it automatically will enable you to do better. Yeah, you'll know what to do.
I have a question for Sudha. So basically the trafficking thing you are doing, so in India, the mode of transportation is mostly train. So is there any way to educate the railway police or the TTs, or there can be digital, some AI for the tickets information from where we can find out the, like some data which are like suspicious or something?
Yes.
Is there anything already in place, or we have to think of something like that?
So technology-wise, I don't know of any data, any application or something that is available. It's very critical, as you mentioned. But government's child line is now available in almost all big junctions. That is one point which is also working at stopping the trafficking. And we ourselves run one child line center at Nampally railway station in Hyderabad. And we have, within a span of now 8 months, we have rescued more than 220 children. Okay, so it is, I think, all human effort that is needed here as of now. And we can, definitely, someone should think about it and work with some technology company to develop it.
And my second question is how to prevent like after marriage, like I have seen lots of incidents in Northeast, like girls are after marriage, those were sold to Haryana.
Yes.
Mostly the Haryana is the place. So how to stop that one? How to convince the people like not to
Yes.
get married in intercaste or something, because
Yeah.
that again like against our values. So
Yes.
we support intercaste marriage,
Yes.
but people come from outside after marriage, they sold their wives in Haryana.
Yes.
So how to solve like counter those issues?
So this is very unique problem that he's talking about. It's actually called marriage for trafficking for marriage. Okay, and it is not just a trafficking problem. It is a problem that stems from the patriarchal mindset and the infanticide, the feticide that was happening 20 years ago, 30 years ago, that is now turned into this. Haryana and other areas where a lot of females were killed while they were still, you're not yet born or just born. Okay, that has now given an impact that ratio of 4 or 5 males, you use one girl that is married off to the family. Okay, so it's again a horrible situation, yes, but to counter that, we'll have to have a multi-pronged approach. Just one single thing will not help. We have to educate the girls, the families that are sending off the girls. We cannot really say sell here. Sending off the girl for marriage and educating them that this is the situation that the girl might face at the destination, and also at the destination side that see even now the infanticide is happening. So they have to understand because of this you're facing this problem. Why don't you at least change the attitude? So it's a long work that needs to happen, multi-pronged approach.
Thank you very much for that. I think with that we are at the end of our time. Do catch the panel outside of the room if you have any more questions. I get the sign that we're past 4:30 and it's time for the conference wrap. Thanks for being a great audience, and thank you panelists for your amazing insights as always.